What do you do when a coworker reveals they're making way more than you, even though they're less experienced and less tenured? That's exactly the situation this next caller is dealing with, and I walk her through a few steps to hopefully resolve the issue. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to hear me coach more live callers just like this one. Mary, welcome to the show. How can I help today?
Hi, thank you. So, I have been working at a graphic design firm for over 6 years now, and
Mhm.
we like to go out like once a week. We'll do happy hour. So, it's a bunch of us that go out. And there's a woman that I work with that was hired, I want to say a year and a half ago. I'll call her Jen. We were hanging out for a while at our little happy hour get together, and she started getting into the workplace gossip, which, tends to happen.
Yeah.
And she was complaining about her apparent workload. And all of a sudden she goes, for X amount of dollars per year, I shouldn't have to do all of this. And I thought she was joking at first because she actually did throw out exact dollar amounts. And that dollar amount was a lot more than I personally make.
Wow.
Yeah, but apparently this was true. I could just see it in her face. So I left there flabbergasted and feeling
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because I truly believe that I deserve more money if that's what she's making, since we're both at the same level, but I have seniority. That's why I'm coming to you because I don't know if I should go to my boss and ask for a raise. I've actually never done that at this job. And to be perfectly honest with you, I usually barely get a cost of living raise. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm trying to figure out right now. Should I, approach my boss for a raise or should I start looking for another job?
Yeah, so it's like this tricky situation of how much she's making and potentially the difference between you, but you're not supposed to know. And so you laid out a choice here between approaching your boss for a raise or looking for another job. What are you concerned about if you do approach your boss for a raise? What might happen that you're concerned about?
I feel like he might just flat out deny it, and that will make me feel really underappreciated.
Are you going to mention at all that you know how much this other individual is making?
I don't think I would go in with that.
Yeah.
I'm just really worried that he would just not think that I deserve the raise, even
Okay.
if I just asked for it without bringing her up.
And you're saying you never really had a raise? You've had slight increases for cost of living,
Slight.
but no
Yes.
real raises. Yeah.
No.
So do you see a career path here at this company? Is this a place where you'd like to see yourself and to grow?
I would. There's a few other areas that, just like any job you could say where there could be some improvement. But prior to Jen throwing this out there, I've overall been pretty happy and wanted to stay with the company for the foreseeable future.
The number that Jen threw out there, does that seem like a standard or reasonable rate in the marketplace for your type of role? Or do you feel like it's excessive and you're not even sure why she's getting paid that if that's true?
It's excessive to the point where I had to stop and ask myself, does she know somebody? It's one of those things. Like
Ah,
it's pretty out of control, if you ask me.
yeah. But the rate that you're at, you feel is below potentially like market value is in terms of like your value and your worth there?
Yes.
Okay. And how's your relationship like with your boss?
I think it's good. I think, he's someone that I feel like I've been able to show my creative side to, and I felt like it was very valued beforehand.
And Jen is new?
Yeah, she's been there under 2 years now.
Okay. And do you feel like you have a good relationship with her?
I mean, it's fine. I don't think we'd be friends outside of the workplace.
Yeah. If you were to reveal that you knew or that she said that and you knew how much she made, maybe get back to her and that might create some tension and that's not a desirable state for you.
No, of course not.
Okay. So the question is how to ask for a raise that's within market value without damaging relationships at work. So forget the fact that Jen told you something. I know that that's tough, but just for the moment, forget it. It does sound like you need to ask for a raise. It does sound like you're probably worth more than you're getting paid. And so I wonder if you could go to your boss and start out by telling him the way you feel about work, that you do value it, that you enjoy being there, that you see a path there, that you see yourself being there long term. You'd like to grow with the company, starting on with those positives and like sort of your vision for being there. And then tell him, I do want to get to a certain rate, which I think is, more standard in the industry. And I'm wondering if you see that possibility happening within the next 6 months or a year, or when do you see that happening? Can you help me figure out how to align my vision for being here with your vision for compensating me for being there? Can we get on alignment in some way? Do you think you could have a conversation like that with him?
Yeah, I love what you're saying. I feel like just to be direct and to the point and not beat around the bush,
Yeah.
because I'm worried about what he will say. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I feel like if I take the approach that you're outlining for me here.
Yeah. I think it's a very reasonable ask, especially if you haven't gotten a raise and you're saying, listen, I think that there is a standard market rate for my position and for how long I've been here. I would like to get to that and I would like to stay here. Can you tell me how that can happen, if that's possible and how that can happen? If he at the end of the day says, listen, I don't think we can ever get you there, then, maybe then you're right. Maybe it's time to start looking elsewhere. But hopefully he can find a way to say, to align with you, to say, okay, I think we can get you there. Here's what it'll take, or here's how long it'll take, and that sort of thing. I know, again, and maybe it's less than what Jen is getting, or would you propose less than what she's getting, do you think?
To be realistic, I would, yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that high.
I mean, it seems like it's true, but like, why would she throw that number out? But who knows if it is. So do you think it's possible to put that on the just like the mystery bucket and kind of close off the door and not really pay attention to it?
Yeah, I think now that the initial shock has worn off, I can take a step back and do that.
If you believe it and you feel like, wow, why is she getting paid so much more? It might create resentment and that will cause you to not be so happy at work. So if we could somehow figure out how to almost put that in the closet and move forward without that. And I think if your boss says to you, yes, we can get you there. I see a timeline. Here's the timeline. Here's what we need to do. But yeah, we can get you there. Would you feel a new sense of motivation or invigoration about the job?
I would. And I feel like now at this point in time, this is the only way to go. Otherwise, I worry I'm going to be at the company, in 10 years still making the same amount of money. So it's time to try. I feel, as I said earlier, I've earned it and I do deserve it.
100%. Yeah. And if you don't ask for what you want, a lot of times you won't get it. Some bosses are proactive and say, I'm going to just be super generous. But a lot of times you do have to ask for someone to know that you're looking towards the future. You want to start making more. You got to ask for what you want or else they're probably not going to give it to you. So I think this is a great path.
Thank you very much.
Well, good luck with this. I hope it turns out well. Please, feel free to come back and let us know how it goes, especially if it doesn't go well and you want to talk about next steps. I'm happy to have you back on.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Peacebuilding with Dr. Pollack show. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more workplace conflict advice. Share on social media if you think your friends and colleagues would benefit from this episode. And if you have a workplace conflict and want to be a caller on our show for free coaching and advice, please email podcast@pollackpeacebuilding.com. Thanks.